much looking forward to it.
Aye, good.
We sleep over in the shed.
Aye, right.
Like your own wee house.
I've just started this, Sandra, what are you
Come on,
doing?
Sandra, move. That's all.
How are we people? He's alright. Hopefully you can hear me alright here. So, I'm couple of things, I'll go through some comments and whatever else I've got. I'm going to wait and Andrew Execrate 200 who's in New Zealand. We're just going to show the sun and both skies at the same time. I don't know if anybody else is about in Australia. If they're wanting to jump into that hangout, you need to send me a wee message. Just as a wee quick recording of. Apparently I've got some globe believer who's professing he's going to come in and tell us all about the magic of gravity and whatever else. So let me just see here. I'm going to set this wee hangout up and then once Andrew's in I'll jump out, I'll jump onto my phone, I'll leave here, obviously I'll still be in the hangout on my phone and just show the sun in both skies. So should be that. Bear with me. Right, so I'm just waiting. What are you doing, Kaz? You need to forgive the Rami in the background. Obviously it's Scotland and the sun's out, so it's taps off and copious amounts of alcohol being consumed. Each to their own. So once I get this I can sit in the quiet, I'll shut the door. We'll see if this globe believer is going to show up. And I'll go through some comments as well, see what you people are saying to you at the same time. So what's happening here, Mark? I'm just going to show the sun in both my sky here and Andrew who's in New Zealand. So I know it's a pain in the ass, but if I shut that right now I'm going to sweat my tits off. Wait a wee second, let's see. Should be a bit better. Should be a bit better. I've not been out it much recently. I'm going to start getting out this week. How are we all people? She Get Helicopters, Mark, Boris Chops, No Story Now, how you doing? You're in New Zealand as well. Bloody Stickle and Water, how you doing? David Marks, Ryan, Vincent, Boris Chops, Chaz aka Zach, David Marks, R Green, TMF, Flat Earth Preacher, Sammy Shaw, how you doing? David Marks, TP in a Tree, Bozak, Stephen Watson, Douglas Spence, VPN, what's that here? I don't know, I don't think so. Peter Mateer, Vigo, Chloe, Mick Bailey, Stefan, Steve HV, how you doing mate? Angela, Tony Dixon, how do? Tony, I got your thing about Satriani, cheers for that mate. Tiger Woods, Dan Taylor, Stephen Smith, Hugo Boss, Delmio Capello, Gavin Fly. What's the crack? I'm going to show the sun and our sky here, and Andrew's sky in New Zealand. I'll check that out. FPV Angel, Neil McCrobb, John Rainback, HH, how you doing? XP, how you doing? JT4 Trouble, Andrew Marshall, Christy, how you doing? The Tinfoil Man, Keith Anthony, how's it going? Gaz Lee, Auntie Meg. Right, as I say, hello everybody. I'm just waiting on Andrew here. Let me see. So he'll join whenever. I'm just going to waffle a wee bit while let me see if I can get this. Just bear with me a wee second here to line some stuff up. For fuck's sake. I'm just trying to get this Google Earth thing to work here. What's going on? Right, let me see if this works. So, we've got Andrew here, and obviously I'm going to need to keep it close in here. Oh, for fuck's sake. What is going on here? Right, this isn't very good. It's fucking slow as a week in the jail. What's going on? Right, so I'm sure everybody knows the problem. Right, we're going to have the sun and the sky here in the west of Scotland. It's supposed to be setting all the way round the fucking imaginary curvature. Round here. What the fuck is going on here? Why is it not rolling the way I want it to roll? It's not moving at all now. Move, you swine. It's not playing. What's going on? It's that fucking much bullshit, it doesn't even work. Right. Here we are, right. So. Come on. The globe's fucked. Oh hey, all the way around in New Zealand. Right. Up you come. So, I know some people are going to be challenged picturing things 3D wise, right? We obviously know we're away round the other side up here. So for Andrew to have the sun in his sky at the same time as us, there's a serious problem. We all know, I mean, I'm only doing this just for the sheer fuck it. Right? This utter nonsense with its fucking rotund, bendy fucking oceans, right, is just ludicrous. But some people need other visual stimulation, other things to rattle them, to make them question what the fuck's going on. Right, so we've got New Zealand just down here. Why is it no fucking Stein orientated the way I want it? It's fucking annoying. Right, I can't be bothered. You'll get the point. Fucking Google Earth is mince. Right. It's still here. Right, where are we? So the first portion of this is just a waiting game. I need to wait for Andrew to join, and I'm going to jump into the hangout through my phone and drive out there. See, I might still get a view of the sun for here, but if the houses over there may block it out, so I might need to just jump in the car run to the park there so that we can get a view. See how it does duality. I've seen you and Beyond Belief giving it to the trolls in the comment sections. As I say, I'm sick and tired of saying this. You look at these comments, we get the same crap all the time. Flat earthers, density and relative density, gravity. I mean, this is what I'm talking about misinformation and muddying the waters. These clowns just run about continually trying to associate and attach nonsense to people like myself, things that you never claimed. And I'm sick and tired of telling these people, look, when we're talking about the way in which objects fall, we're talking about a separate issue. Okay, but the reason that they want to talk about the way in which objects fall is they think that they've got a get out clause, they think that they've got a ta-da moment when their beliefs in the way in which objects fall are totally ludicrous. Right? Hopefully this globe believer will come in and we'll hear it direct from the horse's mouth about what a globe believer actually believes in regards to gravity. But the way in which objects fall have got nothing to do with establishing the shape of the earth, nor does the way in which objects fall define the shape of the earth. Gravity is a must for their model. Okay? They require it in order to explain away nonsensical drivel, right? Why, you know, planetoids and stuff are fucking circling each other. You know, well, they should be just all be going in straight lines, but they need something, right? They need a magical fairy dust to explain the nonsensical apparent physics of their idiotic model. Now, says it to these people in the comment sections. The globular Earth has no physical demonstrations to support its claims. It's not a physical object. It doesn't belong in physical reality. It's a concept. Right? Its use was for navigating. Nothing about a three-dimensional globular Earth can be practically demonstrated, i.e. physics. Nothing about it can be. It's all just explanations, language that you have to place your faith in. And this is what I'm talking about, you know, as I've said so many times before. You know, they have this image and they have created this fucking enormity of complexity of language to support this image. Although other explanations and the complexity of the language are no practical references. When we're talking about physics, we're looking at substance. Display how a substance behaves, you know, isolated on its own or in relation to some other substance. Physicality, practicality. But they don't have any of that. Absolutely none whatsoever. So, that's the reason, you know, they're trolls, because if they're not, they're just people who don't pay attention, which is concerning again and highlights exactly what I'm talking about, because what they're hearing is misinformation, propaganda in regards to people like myself and what the questions we have actually are and what the claims that we have actually are. So they run about YouTubes attaching straw men, cartoons and gibberish to people like myself. Flat Earth Math, away you go, son. Another old character with his mathematical gibberish. And how you doing?
I might just mute myself because it's a bit windy here and I'm asleep.
Andrew, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just mute the wind. What I'm going to do, Andrew, is I'm going to come in on my phone and I'm going to go outside. If you can still hear me, I'm just going to jump into this hangout through my phone and then I'm going to go and show where the sun actually is in our sky. Right, hang on a now. Just see if that comes up. Shut up. Right. Well, I'm just going to go in the bath. There's no peas. Oh, lovely thing. Andrew, I've got my phone turned in, so I'm not going to be able to hear you. Oh, there it is. There it is. Still high in the sky. I would say it's still about a 35-degree angle for here. I can't really see what's going on here. Andrew, you're not showing video if you can hear me. Andrew, your video came on and went off again. Ah, shit. I need to get back to the shed and flick it onto us. Hang on a minute. You saw that there for a wee second. Hey. Right, so hopefully now you can hear me okay. Andrew, if you can hear me, we're still going to view our video on. Obviously I can't see any chat box or anything, so I'm not sure. I don't know if somebody can send me a wee message just to tell me, oh there we go, there's Andrew's footage coming on now. Oh, there we go, I can see the sun and Andrews starting to peer over there. So, I mean here, this is a building here. So let me just drive round a bit further so that you can see it clear how high it is, still in the sky. Still the shed, how the fuck's that? I've clicked it onto me. Well, it doesn't matter, you can see it in the wee fucking picture surely. Fuck. Right, I'm turning back. What a fucking pain in the arse. Why the fuck's it still showing the shed? I've clicked it onto me as the main fucking screen. See See if I get back here and use a talking shite. Gonna take a tantrum. Right, 2 seconds. It's fucking showing me that. What is going on here? That's why. What a prick. What a fucking prick. Right, that should be us now. Right. That is now. We're happy.
Right.
Right. Cool. There's a building that makes it look as if it's lower than it actually is. Yeah. This here's just a building. I'm going to drive around a wee bit. Andrew, hopefully you're alright with your video there. And you've got a bit of clarity in the sky. Oh, here's it. Harley, get out the shed!
See, did you get it right?
So, just see here. See how high it still is. Andrew, I don't know what you're getting. You look as if you had the sun a while ago there. You hear me, man? You hear me? Let me just see here, I'm going to go out. That's still really high. I don't know if the glare, what's happening here. But this here is a flip. Over. Hello? Andrew, have you got the sun there, please?
That turns into bed.
Out the shed! I know he's are there, I can hear he's. Looks as if you've got cloudy skies there, Andrew. I can't hear what they're saying, mate. That crackling and wind's just terrific. It's Andrew.
Yeah, the sun was up, mate. Well, it is up. Just the clouds rolled in. I'll see if it becomes clear again. Yeah, but I saw how high it was for you.
What's that?
I could see clearly how high in the sky it was for you.
It's still here, it's still sitting about 20, 25 degrees above that,
Yeah, I'll just mute this again.
Cool. To see that here is just a flyover. Really should organise it better and went to an elevation. How does it look, Andrew? Does it look as if it's going to clear a bit?
Yeah, the forecast is actually for clear all morning, all day. So I can hang around here for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however long. You can just share it if there's anything here.
Yeah. I could see it earlier when the screen was being shared. It looks pretty thick clouds you've got there.
I'm actually wondering if I just go down the hill about 10 minutes. And just,
How is it? Is it pretty thick cloud?
no, it is thick, but there's a damn fair breeze blowing away. The sun's in the sky and was up. It was actually had direct rays in it before.
Well, we know you've got it there.
Yeah, I can do this anytime, man. The weather, you could look at our forecast, it's quick and clear.
Well, I think you need to get some decent weather the next week anyway, so we'll get it again.
Yeah, no worries, man.
Alright, I'm just gonna head back to this.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in. Once it's me out here in the dusty Sweet. Okay, I'll catch you later, Del.
No worries, mate.
Okay. Good night.
So, she gives it a wee bit of perspective. What's going on? Right, I'm heading back. We're back in 2 minutes. There's a moon just popped up there as well. If you can see that. Just there. Right, I'm just going to shut this down. still on.
Why here?
Aye. Right. Let's see. Fuck, just in time. This is what I'm talking about, you know, I just get a message on my phone. Paladin. He's quoting me. There are no physical demonstrations to support any of the globular earth claims, except literally everything in science related to gravity. What does that mean, Paladin? Everything in science connected to gravity? What a concept. The atmosphere, weather, the motion of the sun, the moon, the stars, these are interpretations. Right? And no practical demonstrations that support how substances behave on your globular earth. Stop talking rubbish. There's a huge difference, right? Because that's what the thing, if you go in the best 5 proofs we live on a globe, it's all interpretations of visible phenomena. The moon, the sun, the stars, everything apart from the actual earth. Shadows in the sky, shadows on the circles in the skies. Oh, the wee things fall, look me. Absolute wallopers, you lot, honestly. You just don't, you're not willing to learn. I'm sick of going through this for you. Can you shut the door? Sick of going through this for you, trying to help you. You just don't want to be helped. You're not interested in learning. Your blanket dismissal of everything that disagrees with you. No, I'm trying to educate you and show you your cult lunacy. Okay? What you have is interpretations. Cherry picked and interpreted to fit a presupposed model. Mathematical hogwash. Okay, son? That's no physics. Physics, as I say, I don't know why I need to tell you this, is about demonstrating substance and its behaviour and interaction with other substance. You know, flat earth math. It's not about the eye. When you're talking about visible phenomena, it is about the eye, flat earth math. Parallel lines do not converge. Yet when you look along a train track, they appear to converge. So, as it happened, I mean, I remember I asked a university student this and he had a brain fart. Where it's no in vision and it's no out there, it's some imaginative place. So, if parallel lines do not converge, where does that belong? Are the train tracks converging in actual physical reality? Or is it a property of your vision? Obviously, it's your vision. The whole globe concept is based on your vision. It's not a three-dimensional object. See, this is what happens when they run out of fucking gimps. They wheel out the old gimps to spew the same rubbish, hoping that it's going to pass off and have some effect. Get real, flat earth math. When you're claiming visible proofsies and you're not accounting for vision, you know, how things appear to converge and get smaller and all that stuff, then you've got a serious problem. Look at this. Steve HV not true. The first camera was a pinhole in a box. And what looked through the pinhole in a box? Huh? What are you talking about? Careful measurements. I suppose you've got practical references, you've got demonstrations that of the substances, the claimed behaviours of these substances, and you can demonstrate them flat earth math, is that right? Huh? I'm not interested in your language, son. I'll go a globe believer who's professed he's coming in. Flat Earth Math, never mind your ditty approach. Make your fucking claim. Right? Don't get any tolerance for your dipshittery, son. So make your fucking claim. We're not playing your wee games, oh let's dance through the hoops for Flat Earth Math, the rest of the globe gimps. 5 fucking years. You've got nothing. We've got the sun high in the sky here in Scotland. We've got the sun in the sky in New Zealand. It's bendiness. It's bendy light, fraction waves, spending rune stuffs. What's your measurements of the sun, the moon and the stars? First and foremost, Flat Earth Math, you have to make assumptions about what these things are above you, and it's the most illogical, non-scientific drivel I have ever heard in my life. Let's establish the dimensions of the floor by measuring the fucking light bulbs. Are you for real, son? You illogical tit. Oh, let's go out and measure the earth. Let's go out and measure the floor we stand upon. Along comes the globe, gimpy fucks. Don't look at the earth. Look up there at the skies. Utter retards. Complete and utter mentally incapacitated gimpy fuckwits. Now, unless Flat Earth Math or any other dipshit cult zealot out there has been to these visible phenomena and knows exactly what they are and exactly where they are, I'm not interested. And even at that, I still want to be interested because we're talking about the earth. We're talking about curvature of the earth. We're talking about standing bodies of water bending and maintaining the bend upon the surface of the body of water. Not only that, we're talking about a pressurised environment, zipping about a vacuum, with no membrane separating the pressure system from the non-pressure system, or the lower pressure system. But again, when we go to physics, that tells us that's absurd and impossible. But Flat Earth Math talks about the sun and the moon and the stars. You're either woefully ignorant and stupid, Flat Earth Math, or your own task, son. Why is my screen just buffering? No, I wasn't looking at the sun to prove FE. I was looking at the sun because we've got it high in the sky here and it's high in the sky in New Zealand. I'll leave you to work that one out. Flat Earth Math. I know that they're very valid and there are no arguments. Water is definite in its behaviour. It does not support shear stress. It cannot conform to the exterior of shapes and objects. You cannot bend it around an object and have that displayed on the surface of the water. Water will flow on a gradient and it will find the lowest potential energy state, which is an equal horizontal plane. That means level. No deviation in elevation from any given point, from any starting point. So wherever I start and wherever I go within that body of water, I'm at the same elevation. And don't try and redefine level to mean equal distance from the centre of a circle. Rubbish. Level in the real world is equal level, no deviation in elevation, from my starting point to my end point. That's a massive problem for your conceptual globe Earth, son. Right, let's see. Right, Juster Feral Cage. The link's been sent. So the whole point about the sun is not to prove anything. All of it to show you the absurd. It's here in the sky, it's still here. And it'll be getting higher in Andrew's, or apparently higher in Andrew's visual field. Flat Earth Math, you can be coy and soft as you like. You know fine well I've been listening to this shite for over 5 years now. So I don't have any patience for the same old crap. You lot need to start being honest about your position. No trying to assert it with authority as if it proves your globe. What you need to start being is honest. It's interpretations of purely visible phenomena. You are redefining from the physicality of our everyday life on things like level and trying to redefine it to mean something else. So never mind all that pish. Stand up and take it on the fucking chin, then you might get respect. As long as you keep coming with that drivel, I'm just going to be of contempt for you, continually. I believed I lived on a globe. I had to get through it. I had no horse in the race. I didn't want to, dismiss the globe in favour of no knowing what it is. It just doesn't stack up. It's bullshit. They talk like this as if it's people like us that are unreasonable. Is that people have witnessed, and anybody that knows me, if I meet you and we speak and there's civility and there's manners and there's respect, you get the very same in return. See when it's faceless, gimpy online trolling, I've got absolutely no tolerance or respect for it whatsoever. You've not made any measurements, Flat Earth Math. You've made here, well, let's see if Flat Earth Math is honest. You've made assumptions about what you think you're measuring. Okay? You started out with a bias in order to decipher and interpret the visible phenomena to fit your preconceived model. Hello.
Hello there.
Who's this?
Can you hear me?
Aye. Is this...
Great. I was just wondering to know where to start. What do you believe? I understand you do not believe that it's a globe. Do you believe that it's not a globe, or do you just lack belief that it is a globe?
Let's just start, first and foremost, so we can get a green seas on what we're talking about.
Yep.
Okay, so we're talking about the dimensions of the Earth. Okay?
Sure.
We are talking about natural science, that being practicality. I am not interested in the formal sciences, language-based, conceptual, abstract concepts, interpretations of visible phenomena. I'm only interested in what you have factually and what you can actually demonstrate. That is what I call real science.
Yeah, sure. But it's okay if I expect the same thing from you, right?
Exactly. That's fine.
Yeah.
I only go with
Yep.
practical. So
Yep.
what I am is a globe denier.
Yeah, so you believe that it's not a globe.
My starting position is that my experience of Earth is that I am on a level plane. Everything about my experience tells me such. The absurd and the contrary claim to my everyday experience is that I am on the exterior of a curving oblate spheroid, spinning, gyrating through a void known as the vacuum of space. So
Yep.
that's where I start. So if you want me to accept the globular Earth is to be true, that's up to you. I do not know. I do not know the full dimensions of the Earth. I make no assumptions about the luminaries, the stars, the sun, the moon, any of that stuff.
Okay.
Cool.
Can I just suggest something when you said earlier about a pressurized system existing next to a less pressurized system?
Yep.
Pressure gradient. The higher you get, there's less pressure.
Do you understand why that is?
Yeah,
Why?
because there's more air, there's more oxygen, the lower you get.
So if I go into a body of water and I take a cubic inch from the top of that body of water and a cubic inch from the bottom of the body of water, the difference is at the bottom of the body of water there is more pressure because there is more mass bearing down upon me.
Yep.
Right? As I go upwards there is less pressure but not less water.
No, yeah, I know that.
Right? So why is it
Yeah.
any different?
Well, you can just measure it. If you go higher,
But
let's
listen
say
to what I'm
you
saying
go
to you. Listen to what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
First and foremost, in order to have any sort of pressure, you need containment.
Why?
Show me gas pressure without a container.
Well,
Listen. I told you first and foremost, I want practical references. Physics we're talking about now. No interpretations of language. Actual physics. Now, point me to a physical demonstration of air pressure or any sort of gas pressure with no physical containment.
Yeah, but you're claiming that it has to be it. Now,
But that's physics.
just-
Listen. That's physics. I understand. Look, don't talk to me as if I'm fucking daft, son, right? It's a known fact that you need a container to create any sort of pressure. You need to separate a high pressure from a low pressure or there will be equilibrium.
Is there less air pressure here than it is 300 meters higher up? Yes or no?
That's due to the mass bearing down. We are within a 20-mile band of extreme mass.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
I just demonstrated to you that you have one point of mass where there's higher pressure, you go higher up, there's less pressure. And I
But
continue
listen,
doing that.
listen, that's about...
Continue doing that.
Listen,
At one point, you're all less.
listen, that's weight. It's about the weight bearing on me.
Yeah.
Right? That's got nothing to do with establishing a gas pressure without a container.
What makes that? What makes that weight? What gives it weight? What is it that? What is that weight of? It's
Mass.
mostly oxygen, right? Oxygen.
That's right, it's the air.
Yeah. At one point, there's no oxygen left because there's no oxygen bearing down on you.
There's no pressure up there, there's still air up there.
Why? Have you been at a high altitude? Have you jumped from an airplane
It's not
before?
my
Did you go
plane.
to the military?
When you go up higher, it's less pressure. No less air,
Yeah.
less pressure.
Yeah, but you do know that less pressure
Listen,
means
son.
several
Listen,
things.
son. It's up to you to convince me. So stop asking me fucking questions. I ask you the questions. Now,
I'm asking you.
do you have a practical demonstration of gas pressure being created without a container?
Yeah, can
Where?
you stop interrupting me? Can you,
Where? Just give me your demonstration.
Can you stop interrupting me, please?
See if you get back to your circular reasoning about the earth and going upwards. I'm not interested. Now, do you have a practical demonstration to support your idiotic assertions?
Yeah, can you stop interrupting me? Yes or no?
You better. The next thing that comes out your mouth better be a reference to a practical demonstration.
Yeah. will you allow me to talk until I'm finished?
As long as it's a practical reference.
When you're at a certain altitude.
Listen, dipshit. Listen, dipshit.
No.
Listen,
You said I
fuckface.
was allowed to speak.
Listen, son. I've got contempt for you already because you're not paying any fucking attention. Stop using circular reasoning. You've not been up as high as you can go either, so shut the fuck up.
What?
Now,
I didn't get that last part.
listen, you have not been up as high as you can go.
No, not as
So
high.
shut up.
Where's the limits?
So shush, okay? Now what I'm asking you, the globular claim is that you can have a vacuum and a gas pressure adjacent to each other with no physical separation. Do you have something to support that?
I'm not sure what are you talking. What do you mean? Do you mean like a little square that is a certain size and right next to it there is a vacuum?
Listen, listen very carefully, right? I don't deal with fantasy, right? I deal with reality. So see, when human beings are making claims to me, yes, they must demonstrate it to me. So if I get any sort of I've worked in air conditioning, I've worked in cars, I've worked in all sorts of machinery, I've worked in all sorts to do with air pressure and gas pressure. Now, when we have a higher pressure, we must separate it from the lower pressure because the higher pressure will move immediately into the lower pressure area, even if it's a hairline fracture.
Sure.
Right? That's physics. So that debunks the claim right there and then.
No, it doesn't. Just do you agree that it's more if you go high, is the oxygen level lower than it is just a few thousand feet below?
There's air, there's gas up there. It's just not under the same pressure because the pressure gradient that you're talking about is about the mass, the weight of the mass, not that there's less.
Yeah, it is. Well, why do you think you wear oxygen mask at high altitudes?
Listen carefully. Listen carefully.
Just answer that.
No,
just answer that. Why do you do that?
Because
when you have higher pressure, you condense it to where it contains more oxygen. Just if you compress it enough, it actually becomes a liquid.
Listen to me.
Right?
Listen carefully. See, when we go deep sea diving, why do we need pressure suits?
Why do you need pressure suits?
Because it's a greater pressure, and as we go upwards, it's a lesser pressure.
Yeah.
Right? That just got nothing to do with gas being contained. Or
yeah, sure. Then who said it does?
there's still air up there. You go up a mountain, there's still air. It's just that you're under less pressure because you've moved up the column of mass bearing down upon you.
Yeah, but why do you need oxygen mask? Have you been jumping out of an airplane before?
You're just going to keep asking the same questions. The reason you need a mask is because there's less pressure.
Yeah, but that pressure, if there was enough air, why would you need... The pressure doesn't matter.
Yes, it
less
does.
Air because...
Yes, of course it matters. Why do you need a pressure suit when you dive down into the sea?
Because of the pressure, but you don't breathe pressure.
Listen, so is there any less water at a cubic inch of the top of the water than there is at, say, 1,000 metres at the bottom?
In molecules, yeah.
No, there's not. What, so you're now saying water's compressible?
What? Water's compressible.
Is it?
Yeah.
What's the fraction? It's very minute.
Yeah, sure.
Right,
It's a lot,
so
because
stop
it's a dense
trying to
medium.
score points, you dishonest cunt. Now, listen carefully. When you go into water and you dive down, there's an increase in pressure. As you move up, there's a decrease in pressure. Doesn't mean that there's no any stuff there. So back to the original point. Do you have a practical demonstration of you creating gas pressure with no containment?
Me creating it, no.
Right, so you've not got anything to stand on. Move on.
No, but just listen.
No, you listen, son. You listen, son.
If you compress air, what happens to it if you compress air? Have you compressed air?
That's right.
Yeah, it becomes a liquid, right?
So let's ask the question.
That means there's more oxygen in it.
Let me ask the question because I'm the master and you're the servant and you will answer to me, okay?
No, not your servant.
Well, you want me to believe in your globular earth. You're here to be questioned on the globular earth. Now, what compresses the air here on Earth?
Don't take the defensive stance with me.
What compresses the air here on Earth? What makes it so that it's more compressed here at the Earth than it is above?
The air above it.
So it's the mass above it bearing down?
Yeah, and the mass existing around it.
So I thought you said there wasn't any air up there to bear down on the mass down here?
No, there's less.
How can less can create a pressure on more? Don't be ridiculous. That's like saying I've got a wee tiny brick and a massive brick underneath, and that wee tiny brick creates more pressure than the big brick. Are you daft?
No. It's an accumulating effect.
That's just word salad. That's just word salad. You just tripped yourself up there, son.
No, just listen. No. The higher you get, the less air pressure there is, the higher you get up. You have to go even further to get less air pressure, correct?
Pressure.
That is because, less air pressure. That is because with each mile you get, there's less air in that mile.
So get back to
get 1
get back to
PSI
my original question. So you're saying that this 20-mile band of the most dense part of the air that we exist in is being compressed by less above that?
No, the first 100 meters is where there's most air. You agree with that? Or is
Why? That's the question I'm asking you. Why would you say there's more air here?
Because it's more compressed.
What's causing that?
The weight of the air above it.
But how can again we're back to this again? So this 20-mile band of the most compressed, dense air, the heaviest part, is being compressed from above by less.
Yeah, but it's a lot less compressed above than below. It's get less and less compressed the higher you go.
How can that have a bearing of downwards then? Why is that bearing down on the more mass? That doesn't make any sense to me.
But are you saying that it's not less air if you go like 10,000 feet high?
Less pressure, no less air.
Yeah, but you have trouble breathing there, right?
That's because you're under different pressure. You will adjust.
Why would the pressure? The problem is the amount of oxygen in the air. If you take a lot of if you take very little oxygen and you compress it inside a little air mask, it will still be very little oxygen. You need a certain amount of oxygen to breathe. It doesn't matter if that's compressed. If it's compressed, it just means that it takes less space.
Do you have a practical demonstration of creating air pressure without a container?
Without a container, no.
Right.
Well, there is air pressure here on Earth, isn't it?
So don't use circular reasoning, son. We're talking about physics, practical demonstrations. You need in order to even say pressure, you need a container.
No, you don't.
Give me an example. Give me an example, and don't say you go up a mountain. Don't use circular reasoning. Give me a practical
How is
reference.
that circular? How is that circular?
Because it is. Because it is. Because listen, it is circular reasoning because you're coming from the position, the already presupposed position that we're on an oblate spheroid in a vacuum with no solid membrane separating us from the vacuum. That's your presupposition. Okay, so don't use circular reasoning to support it. I'm asking you for a practical reference to support that. Because here's the thing. Because every 100% of every single thing I can observe and test and utilise shows me that claim is total and utter lunacy.
You're still not addressing the point. There is less air up there.
There's less pressure.
Would you breathe equally if you put that same amount of air inside an oxygen tank? If you put that inside an oxygen tank that was the same air above there, could you? No. Of course not.
Right, so let's say this, right? There's going to be air up there, okay? But it's more compressed down here, okay?
Yeah.
Now, what's causing it to go down?
Gravity.
Gravity?
Yeah, I know you don't like that.
Right, let's hear this. How does gravity make the air come to the earth?
It pulls on it, and
No, let's have a description of pull. What do you mean by pull?
Attraction.
What's attraction? What is attraction? What's the physical interaction of attraction?
What do you mean the physical interaction?
Well, pull is just a descriptor of something coming closer to something else. I'm talking about the physicality of motion. How does pull make something? That's like magic. That's like me just waving my hands and expecting the TV to come towards me magically. That's absurd. In order to create motion and direction, you need a pressure. You need something pressing on something else. So how does gravity, which I assume you're saying is at the centre of the earth, yes?
Yeah.
How does gravity reach out and attach itself to stuff out with the earth?
Attaches it?
Well,
It doesn't need to attach. It just does a magnet need to attach itself?
What's a magnet? What's the physicality of a magnet? You know nothing about how magnets function. So don't
What do you mean?
don't try and use false equivalencies of magnetism, right? Now, I asked you a question. You said pull. Pull is not a force.
No, it's not. Gravity is a force.
No, pressure's a force. Push.
No.
No. Listen, son, I'm gonna. You're failing miserably so far. So far, we've got no practical demonstrations of your first claim, and now I'm asking you for a practical. Give me a citation for pull. Give me somewhere I can go right now and demonstrate a pull.
Go out and demonstrate a pull.
Go. Show me how a pull works.
Well, in the physical, you take your arm and pull it, if that's what you mean. But
Right, let's see here. So let's say I'm going to tow your car, okay? And I attach a rope to your car and my car. Would you describe that as me pulling your car?
Sure.
So is that the same then as how gravity works?
Sort of, yeah.
Okay, let's look at this then, because this is where you globe believers are oblivious to actual reality. Now, can you see me? Can you see me okay?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So here we have my car, okay? Here we have your car, right? These are the two towing bars of each car. Now, my car is going to go in that direction, okay? So what I do is I put a rope around this towing bar, okay? Then I put it around your towing bar. Now, under the laws of motion, my car applies push. Every mechanism of a machine of like a car is one thing pushing on another thing in order to achieve motion. Now, as that car propels forward, pushes onto the road and propels itself forward, it takes the tension up on the rope. Okay, so the rope is now around it here. As the car moves, the pressure is now going to be applied, okay, to the inside of the rope here, because it's pushing on the rope like such. Okay?
Yeah.
That tension is then taken up as it goes round here. Now it applies a pressure here and pushes on your car. So when I've just described that to you and used the word pull is not the physicality of the motion being created. It's pressure, applied pressure. And you just asserted that it was the same as gravity.
Okay, first of all, pressure is not a force. Pressure exerts force, yes, but it is not a force.
Listen, motion, the force in order to create motion is pressure. You need energy, something pressing on something else.
You need a force to create momentum.
The force is pressure.
Pressure exerts a force, but it is not a force. There's two different things.
Listen.
There's only four natural forces in the world.
Listen, we're talking about motion here. Don't start skirting about, right?
This is not talking about. You're saying pressure is a force.
Look,
It's not.
see if I want to
Pressure
move that
exerts a
object.
force.
See if I want to move that object. I press on it. I apply a pressure. Pressure is the force that makes it move.
You apply a force.
Pressure is the force. It's pressure when I press on it. How do you
that's
describe
colloquial
that?
term.
How do you describe that? If that's no pressure, I don't know what is. What
It's
is
a push.
A push, which is pressure. I'm applying a pressure to it.
Pressure pull exerts a force equally on all objects, so that would be false.
The force is pressure.
Sure.
Look, there's the object. It's not moving anywhere. How am I going to make it move? Oh, that's right. I need to apply a force, a pressure. How can you deny that?
Pressure itself is not a force.
My God, son.
Pressure is...
My God. So, that's not a force. I'm no forcing that to move.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying pressure is not a force. You are exerting force with your finger, and the lighter is exerting a force back on your finger with equal force as you're pressing it. But that does not mean that you can measure that pressure.
Okay,
But
so
that is
if I
not a
just
force.
touch it, right, it's equal. The pressure is equal in both directions. Now I need to increase the pressure, the force, in order to make it move.
Yes. Force is measured? What is force measured in? Newton, right? Usually.
How much
Pressure?
How much pressure is being applied? So, see when I use a torque wrench and it's measured in Newton, right? Newtons, right? It's the torque. It's how much pressure has to be applied to it. Pressure. How much push must be applied. Are you really this daft?
Pressure.
Don't make huffs. You're making yourself look like an absolute lunatic, son.
No.
What you're denying? Let's get through this slowly, right, so that we understand, right?
Yeah.
That's no going anywhere. How am I going to make it move?
You exert a certain amount of Newton on it.
Right, what's that Newton? What is that? What's that I'm doing to it? Applying
You can measure it, sure. That's
am
no
I
problem.
applying a pressure to it?
Yes, you are applying a pressure.
So the force to make it move is pressure.
No, you're applying a pressure, but the force itself is not pressure.
So what's the force?
Force you're applying is an electromagnetic force. It is the electromagnetic force. If there was no electromagnetic force, your fingers would actually go through the letter.
Oh, shut up, son. Shut up.
No, that's true.
It's up. I'm not even going to play your trolling game. It's a fucking pressure. Pressure is the force to make stuff move.
No.
Now we've established that, right? So we understand you need.
No.
Listen.
Give me one
listen,
academic citation that says pressure is a force. And I'll
listen,
proceed. Just one.
Listen. In order to make something move, something needs to press on something else, right? We'll just leave it at that. So,
Yeah.
get back
That
to the initial
exerts the
question.
force.
Get back to the initial question. How do I get that to come towards my finger?
It needs an attraction.
What's attraction? What goes on in between them to make it come towards?
Well, gravity, we're still not sure, to be honest.
Right, so you don't got a fucking clue what you're talking about.
Yeah, we do. We don't know why, but we know how.
But I'm
We
just
know how fast.
listen.
We know.
I'll help you. I'll help you, right? Because I'm a practical person. I work with machinery. I work in practical reality. Motion requires something pressing on something else.
Yeah, then why does a brick fall? What is pressing on that?
Well, I could say it's the Earth that's coming towards it. Because that
Yeah.
complies with the laws of motion.
But why would it all do at the same speed? Are you saying that the Earth is traveling upwards?
I could.
Yeah, you could.
I
But
could, aye.
that wouldn't
But
be
here's the
true.
thing. But here's the thing. It's irrelevant to establishing the shape of the Earth. So
Yeah, sure.
So let's move on after you've embarrassed yourself. Now, what proof have you got that we live on a globe?
Well, what would you accept as proof?
Demonstrations.
Like what? What?
It's
Give
not
me an
up to-
example.
Listen. It's not
No,
up to me.
there's no point in
Do
me
you-
presenting
do
a proof if you won't accept
do,
it.
Do you want me to believe that the Earth's a globe?
I really don't care.
You don't. What are you here for then?
I'm here to discuss it.
Well, you're here
I mean,
because
you
you're
invited
here.
me.
You're
You
here
invited
because
me, remember?
you're here because you acted like a smart ass in the comment section, and now I've just told you a new asshole and showed you up. You don't even understand force. You deny.
Yeah, I
you
do.
deny that the force to create motion is pressure.
No.
Are you telling me?
I said, I said
so,
it's not. I said
so-
pressure is not a force. That is what I'm saying. And it's not. There's only four natural forces in the world. It's weak, strong, nuclear forces, both of them. There's gravity, and there's one last one, electromagnetism. These are four forces we know about. Other things can exert force. When I push on something, I'm exerting force, but I am not a force.
define gravity.
Just any other object.
Define
Doing
gravity.
it.
Define gravity.
It is two objects who is attracted to each other by the center of mass in a straight line.
But we've just established that you can't make something go towards something else without something pressing on it.
No, sure you can. You can do it with a magnet.
What's a magnet though? Because
What
here's
do
the
you mean,
thing,
what is a
I could see a magnet similar to like air pressures. So like when I switch my vacuum on, okay, what happens there is that I create a lower pressure system, and the higher pressure system rushes in to fill that void. So I could use a magnet and say something similar is happening. It's creating some sort of pressure decrease in the ether, and the rest of the ether rushes in there and pushes objects into that vicinity. So you can't use magnetism in regards to gravity. It's a false equivalence.
Not really.
Of course it is.
Magnetism is not a pressure, air
What
pressure
is
thingy.
it then?
What do you mean what it is?
Well, what's the physicality of a magnet? What's the physicality? What's actually going on?
Electrons are jumping from one to the other.
You don't know.
One of them is very negative and the other is very positive. If they're both positive, they will repel each other. So they're not touching.
Listen.
They're just. Are you denying that? Are you seriously denying
No,
magnets?
I'm just denying this nonsense of attraction and pull, because they're only descriptors of bringing something closer to something else. Now, in physical reality, in order to bring something closer to something else, you must push upon it.
How is it a false equivalence to the magnets?
Listen,
It's a pull.
Listen,
It's a pull. It's
listen.
not.
In reality, every single demonstration of motion requires one thing pushing on something else. Every machine, every practical thing that we have, anything that moves is something pressing on something else in order to achieve motion.
Is a magnet that?
I don't know what's going on with a magnet. It's not been fully understood.
Yeah, magnet. Yeah. Are you kidding me? We do this in high school.
No, what you do is play with them. You observe phenomena. You don't actually know what's actually going on.
Yeah, you do. You
No,
can
you
make
don't.
magnets. You can just
No, you don't.
charge one of
No,
them.
you don't. All you're doing is observing phenomena. You don't
Yeah,
know.
but you-
Right, give me your tests. You tell me your
Yeah.
tests.
Sure. You know what? If I'm going to come to Scotland next 2 years, we can make a magnet together and I can show you how it works.
If you get anything
Well,
else,
how-
if you get anything else to support this globular nonsense.
No. I'm just giving you an example and you won't accept it because you don't understand magnets.
No, I understand. No, you don't understand. Nobody does. No, they don't.
What do you mean
No,
nobody
listen,
does? How do we
listen.
make magnets if we don't understand them? Are you
Listen,
serious?
just because you can pick a magnet up and go, oh, look, it does this and does that, doesn't mean you know the actual physicality of what's going on.
Sure we do.
No,
you
don't.
can measure it.
You know, who's we? Who's we?
Anyone.
Shut up, son. You show me your practical demonstrations, Ed.
Of how a magnet works? Sure. You can take a piece of metal that doesn't work as a magnet, you can electrify it, because then it has a high amount of electrons, and it will work as a magnet.
And? What's that got to do with gravity?
Because you're saying that nothing can pull without creating pressure. Boom.
It can't.
You can.
It can't. All motion requires one thing pressing on something else. So you either relieve pressure or you increase pressure in order to achieve motion.
How does magnet works?
That's not up to me, it's up to you. You're the one that's asserting it.
I have explained it, and you said, no, I don't understand it, so therefore it's false.
I've got two magnets here and I can play with them till I'm blue in the face. It doesn't mean to say that I've got a full understanding of the physicality of what's actually
but I
happening.
do.
No, you don't.
Why don't I do that?
You're up for a prize.
Because you're claiming it?
You're up for a prize then, son.
Why? Because you're saying I don't understand magnets? We make magnets. How do we do that if we don't understand
Well,
them?
that's right, because the majority of magnets are man-made.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how again is this related to gravity? And the pullingness and attraction of gravity?
Because we understand how magnets work. We don't understand how gravity
Is
works.
gravity a
We
magnet?
know how, we don't understand why.
Is gravity a magnet?
No,
Right,
but it's
so-
something pulling on something else to make it move, is it not?
No, because pull's not a force that creates motion.
No, pull is not a force, no.
No, pull is nothing. Pull is a descriptor of something coming closer to something else.
By exerting a force upon it, sure.
And the force has to be something touching something else, pressing on it.
But that's just semantics. There's just two different things describing the same
No,
thing.
it's not. It's a fundamental fact. In every aspect of motion, you need one. Listen, do you understand that every machine is either an inclined plane or a lever?
Sure.
Right? That means you've got one thing pressing on another thing, pressing on another thing to achieve the desired outcome.
Yeah, but pull is simply a semantic thing compared to pull. It's something we describe because usually, first, you cannot push on a rope to
Right?
make something move.
Of course you do. You apply pressure to the rope. Do you really,
Yeah, but listen,
do you really
listen,
need to do
you're
this?
all you're doing is making the rope go. My words are evading me here. Slack. It's just becoming limp.
Do you want me to embarrass you? Do you,
You come to the point where you've passed the object and you're then suddenly pulling from the other side.
Right, we need to embarrass this guy here because I was waiting for him to bring up the rope shenanigans. Let's see here. Here, I'll give you a wee lesson, son, see if you can learn, right? Better find my pens. How many times have we heard this gibberish about ropes? Right? Let's just see here. Let me see, what have I got? We'll just use this. Right. So, I'm assuming you can see me here, okay? You can see me quite clearly, yes? Yes?
Yeah.
Right, we've got a piece of rope, okay? Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Right, so we've got a person standing here. We've got a person standing here. Right? Now, this person must apply pressure onto the rope, okay?
Hold on a second, I lost you. Yeah, there's you. Yep.
Yeah, you can see the arrows, pressure going on. Now this person must convert the pressure to that direction. So that a pressure of squash, squeeze, then he must grip it, and if it was a smooth piece of metal with grease on it, he wouldn't be able to create friction. Right? So he has to apply the pressure in that direction in order to make the rope come towards him. This person must do the same, apply first and foremost his grip, putting pressure on it, then he has to turn it and push the pressure onto the rope in that direction. So it's always push.
Push. What is push defined as? Is moving an object away from you, isn't it?
But we can use it as push as an object away from you. I'm using it in regards to creating the motion.
Yes,
So we'll just
that's
call
my
it.
point.
We'll call it applied pressure. Now you must apply the pressure in whatever direction you want to make it go
I'm
in.
not denying that. I'm not denying that.
You've just sat and denied it for 20 minutes.
No. You were saying that push is one thing and pull is another.
It is.
You're saying you're defining it in a certain way.
Well,
You're defining
let's-
push in a different way than what is normal.
Let's clear it up. Okay, right. So push. We'll just say push means to make something go away from you. Pull means
Yeah.
bring something closer towards you. In both cases, applied pressure makes it happen.
Yeah. Applied force makes it happen. Of
Pressure.
course. The pressure.
When I press on something, I'm applying a pressure to it. Am I know?
When you press on it, yeah.
Right. So it's applied pressure makes it move.
We say force for sure.
Well, I'll
You can
just say,
measure
if pressure
you can
is
measure
force.
the-
Pressure
you can
is the
measure
force. Pressure is the force.
No.
How much pressure is how much force? So, anything else to support this globe?
No, I'm just wondering, why do you say water does not bend? Water is not a solid.
Standing bodies
Why?
of water. Standing bodies of water don't bend. It's the natural physics that water will run down a decline or a gradient. It will find the lowest potential energy state, which is a flat line.
No, the lowest potential energy is a sphere. That is.
What?
No, it is.
What?
The lowest potential energy state is a sphere for water.
Show me a
Water's
standing.
natural state.
Show me a standing body of water that's in a sphere.
No. Hold on a second. You just said the lowest point of energy is a flat surface.
That's right.
Yeah, that's not correct. Why do you think when you take take a drop, put it on the hood of your car? What shape does it take?
We'll talk that's about air pressure. That's
How
about
that has anything to do? You can do it in a vacuum. Do it in a vacuum, a near perfect vacuum, of course.
What, do we
do it in a
live
vacuum.
in a vacuum?
No, how is that irrelevant? We're living. We're talking about the lowest energy
Listen,
state, not where we
listen,
live.
listen, don't keep fucking chatting on, son. You're just starting to irritate the fuck out of me. Do we live in a vacuum?
No.
Right, shut the fuck up about vacuums then. We're talking about when water collects together in a body, right?
Yeah.
Right, so you try to tell me you could take something
Any
like that.
size.
So we could take a swimming pool, saying we could bend the swimming pool and create a bend on the surface of the body of the water.
Yeah, you can measure the curve even
Shut
in a swimming pool,
up.
sure.
Are you-
You
so
can
you-
measure in a bucket of water.
So are you telling me that all these tradesmen that have used water as a levelling tool have actually created curved foundations?
Depends how big it is, sure.
Shut up, son. You're just irritating now. Fuck off.
Yeah, I really don't care if you're irritating it.
Let's
You may get annoyed because
let's
I'm
get a
telling you the truth.
definition. What does level mean?
Perpendicular to the pull of gravity.
And I'm talking about an actual reality, no mathematical terms.
That is not a mathematical term. What defines where the you know the little tiny bubble?
Listen, son.
You know the
Listen,
little tiny bubble.
listen.
What defines where it goes?
Listen,
What
level in real world means no deviation in elevation from your starting point to any other point.
In the real world or in physics?
In physics, in the real world. Don't equate physics and maths, okay? Because maths is something totally different. In physics, the real world, level means no deviation in elevation from any given point.
Elevation, you mean? Yeah, sure.
Right?
Elevation.
So there's two
The
definitions.
difference
This is a problem I've had with people like you before. I understand there's two definitions. Now, your definition belongs on a blackboard. My definition applies to real world applications.
No, they. Listen.
So are you saying in the real world, I'd love to see you get into a building site and trying to tell tradesmen and people that use this stuff every day of their life that level actually means curved?
Oh, no, not curved. No.
Well, that's what you're stating.
No.
Listen.
You're saying listen.
Listen.
Elevation.
Listen.
Means height above.
Listen, dipshit.
Elevation.
Listen. There's a fucking circle, right? Now that's a curve. That's a curve. That means if I start here and I work my way and I'm applying level, I'm going to go way out here like this.
No. It does not.
It fucking does, son. Fuck off. Just get to fuck.
Just listen.
Fuck
Listen
off.
now.
No listening to you, you're a fucking mom. A reality denying dipshit. Now get yourself fucking hunted.
Is
Fuck
the level
off.
is
Fuck
the height
off.
above this?
Fuck
What do you mean by
off.
level? Listen.
You listen,
Level.
fuckle. Listen, fuckle. There's two definitions of level. Do you agree there's two definitions here?
Sure, and I can
Now,
demonstrate you both.
listen. The real world level means no deviation in elevation.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
Sure.
On the circle,
What?
on the circle, if I draw, there's no straight lines on a circle or a ball. If I draw a straight line, you can't have a straight line on a ball.
I know you love to hear yourself talking. Can I get a word in edgewise there, please?
Because you're a fucking mom, son. It's like trying to get fucking blood out of stone. Yous cunts are the most dishonest fucks I have ever met in my fucking life.
Listen.
You listen!
When you're-
Don't tell me to
No.
listen, you wee fanny! You're a wee fanny, son!
Oh, shut the fuck up
Fuck
and listen,
off.
you big
No,
knuckle man.
jockey.
I'm trying to explain
Fuck
something to
off.
you, and you won't listen because you're too fucking proud. Now listen to me 2 seconds without interrupting, because
You
you
better,
know damn
have
well I'm
something good, you wee fucking snaky fuck!
elevation. Is that how do you measure elevation?
In the
Height
real,
above
in
the
the
sea
real
level,
world, in the real world, let's
Height
have a wee
above the sea
fucking-
level, right?
Listen, fucko, in the real world, there we go. Real world, there level means a fucking straight line. No deviation from my starting point. No deviation in fucking elevation. Cunty fuck. Now let's draw a fucking curve. Oh, there's my starting point. Now I want to go fucking level. Oh, whoopsie. There's a big fucking problem here. Fanny.
When you say, can you hear me?
You're a
Elevation.
fanny. You're a wee fucking wanky fanny. Take your coat and ram it right up your fucking baggy ass, son.
When you take measure the level,
Take in.
how the hell do you have followers when you act like a fucking child?
You're the fuck,
Listen,
because you're a dishonest wank, and I've got contempt for you, son.
I don't really care. I'm
Well,
here to
fuck
explain
off
something.
then.
You can
Fuck, hit the fucking button, you shite bag, and fuck off.
No, if you want to run from me, you
I'm
run.
not
That's
running.
fine.
You're running. You're intellectually dishonest.
No, you won't let me talk.
You're an
If you listen,
intellectually
my channel muted you for a long
bankrupt,
time ago.
lying piece of shite. Is what you
No.
are.
How is level measured?
No deviation in elevation.
Yeah. How is elevation measured?
What do you mean? How's the elevation measured?
Yeah, it's height above the sea level, right?
Right, sea level, aye. Level, meaning
Yeah.
no deviation in elevation, meaning a fucking horizontal straight line.
Sea level does not mean it's... No.
Level, listen
No.
clearly.
If
Listen,
you go over
listen,
1 point...
listen. See, in the real world, level is a fucking straight line.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah.
there's no straight lines on a ball.
No, and... Does that make
Therefore,
a sphere
there's
level
no
wrong?
fucking sphere.
No, the point is, if you go and measure 1 point, it will be level, because there will be no deviation in elevation. Because if you're 10 meters above the Earth, at anywhere, you'll still be 10 meters above the Earth.
And the line will be curved.
Sure.
That's no reality, son.
Why not?
Because that's not how the real world operates.
Operates? What do you mean operates?
The real world, listen, level in the real world is when it does not deviate in its elevation from that point. Right?
Yeah.
Which means a straight line. On a curve, it has to deviate in its elevation from a starting point. It has to get lower.
Yeah.
That's no reality.
What do you mean that's not a reality? Because
That's not reality.
a level is not is a curve? It depends. You can use both definitions. They're not wrong either way. Just explain what you mean by level, and you can use both. The problem.
Listen, I'll agree with you. Right, both are correct. It's definitions, right? But one of them applies to the real world, and one of them applies to mathematical blackboards and pieces of paper.
Well, both do, but still.
You show
can
me
use both.
You show me somebody in the real world who uses level as a curve.
Most people don't use it as a curve.
That's because it doesn't exist. It's idiotic. Well, in the real world we use Euclidean geometry. We don't use non-Euclidean.
Hold on a second.
What a fucking idiot. I wish I had more patience for these cunts, but I just don't. And I'm not going to apologise for it. Fucking sick and tired of them.
Alright, I'm back. Just saying that to the missus. How the real world operates. What do you mean by that?
The real world we use Euclidean geometry.
And most of the time, yeah.
Aye, Euclidean geometry does not apply to curved surfaces, son.
No, but why would you? I mean, if you were...
Well,
no.
if I was on a sphere, it would have to be.
No, not on the dimensions we're talking about here.
No, son, there's no straight lines on a sphere. Are you now trying to assert there's straight lines on a sphere?
If they're short, sure.
No,
if
there's
yeah.
You can't have straight lines on a sphere. It's curving continually.
Yeah, but it's so small.
Oh, it's so small. It doesn't change any facts. There's no flat bits. There's no straight lines on a sphere.
Sure.
Right.
I can agree with that. If you...
Right, so we use Euclidean, meaning levels and all that stuff in the real world. So therefore, the real world's no curved.
No. That's a really far stretch.
Is it? It's a really far stretch for you to assert that we use Euclidean geometry in the real world, levels, straight lines, and then you want to jump and apply that to a sphere. What a moron.
No. When you're designing things, what do you try to do? Whenever you're trying to design, you're trying to eliminate as many variables as possible, right?
See your attitude of, no. You can start hand wave dismissing all you fucking like, sonny boy. You've been exposed immensely here. Regardless of my antics and my annoyance at you, you've exposed yourself as an incompetent, dishonest zealot.
That is your opinion.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact. You're a reality-denying moron.
I really wouldn't stop predicting that much.
You've been through mental gymnastics and contorting your wee brain to try and make it work, and it's just not working. There is no straight lines on a ball. There is no flat bits on a ball.
Sure there are.
No,
Depends
there's no.
What you mean by...
Wow.
When you
don't
say
understand basic geometry, son. You don't understand basic geometry. I don't even know why you're here wasting my fucking breath. Other than to be a troll.
Well, you invited me.
And?
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Well, fuck off now.
No, I'm not going to fuck up. You can keep me out.
You get something else to offer. You get some other drivel that you want to offer me.
Well, my entire continuation was that most people don't understand.
Oh, I understand perfectly well. Don't undermine me, you wee fanny. Don't try and undermine me, you wee fucking sack sniffer. You don't understand fuck all. You're a liar.
Can I please just finish the sentence without interrupting me?
You're a fucking dick. You're a dick sniffer. Fuck off.
No, no.
All you're going to get is pure contempt.
I really don't care.
I know you can sit there and take my abuse then.
You couldn't abuse anything, kitten.
I'm abusing
you're
you.
So cute.
I've exposed you to fuck here, son. You are an idiotic cretin.
You have only
First and foremost, we can have gas pressure without containment. Then
I proved that
water doesn't find its level. Water bends around the shapes of objects. Now we're getting Euclidean geometry applies to curved surfaces. We're getting straight lines and flat bits on a sphere. Wow.
You can even bend water with a comb.
Aye, whatever. That's no bending it around the exterior of a shape.
No. Are you equating?
Are you now equating static charge with gravity?
No, you
Right.
wanted me you asked for an example.
Standing body of water. No water running out of tap using static effect.
What is the
Standing
difference?
body.
At what point does it become a body of water?
Whatever, son. Have you got anything else?
Do you have anything? You haven't said anything.
I don't care. The globe's an idiotic fucking mathematical concept.
No,
I
you're
refuse
denying it.
It's up to you. You're here to try and convince me.
No, I'm not here to convince you. You are here to convince me just
I
as
thought we
much.
agreed on that at the start.
What? That I'm here to convince you? No,
Aye,
no,
well,
no, no.
you're here to tell me it's a globe.
No, I haven't said that.
So-
I know I can't do that because there's no evidence you would accept. I mean, I asked you what evidence you would accept, and you didn't have any.
I established with you at the beginning that my bar is practical reference. Now,
Yeah.
do you have any practical references for any of your idiotic notions?
I asked you what evidence you would accept.
I'm not interested. Do you have any practical references to support your globular Earth?
Yeah, sure. You can watch boats go above the under the horizon.
What?
You can watch boats go under the horizon.
Oh, visible phenomena. First and foremost, bodies of water don't bend.
Well, why is it behind the horizon? Why is it behind the horizon?
Secondly, that's a property of vision, not a part of the physical reality.
So our vision does not work. Is that what you're saying?
No, our vision works. What I'm asking you is, how do you account for it?
The body of water is curving. That's
No, it's not. What a silly, idiotic assertion to make. Standing bodies of water don't bend. Are you now trying to assert that the ocean is curving downwards from your feet and not flowing?
What do you mean downwards? What's down on the globe?
Well, from
Down is-
your position, it's a gradient. It's a slope. So from your
No.
No. I know you're going to redefine it mathematically, but I'm always in the real world. You're in fantasy world of gibberish, right? In the real world, when you put water on a gradient, right, it flows.
Yeah, but it's not a gradient.
Right, as a gradient. Right, relative to your position, it's a gradient.
Come on. Do you have a globe in your home anywhere?
I don't give a fuck. No, I don't have plastic toys here. No,
Really?
the globe's just a
Anyways.
plastic toy, son.
Yeah, sure. It can be plastic. But the point is, when you look at the globe, where is the top?
There is no top.
Exactly. So why would it be a gradient?
Exactly. I understand all the gibberish. I used to believe in the globe, son. I know it better than you.
Apparently not.
Oh, I know it perfectly. Much better than you.
No, you have proved that you don't.
Oh, I know it. That's why I refused it. Because I understand that it's just a mathematical concept, not a three-dimensional object.
Dude, you went around with a bottle of water and tried to make people bend the water. Come on. Come on.
To show them how idiotic they are. That's what real science is about, son. Real science is about practical demonstrations. You don't get that, though. You want to assert that properties and substances have these characteristics and behaviours, but you can't demonstrate them.
Okay, just tell me what point of fluid mechanics that tells you that water doesn't bend.
Listen, let's just clarify that. This guy here wants to slag somebody who uses practical references, right? Now, he wants to assert that it has a behaviour. When I ask him for a practical reference, what am I going to get? Diddly squat. So, Mr. Globe Believer, where is your practical reference that a body of water can bend? Demonstrate it for us.
Just go out and use the theodolite.
Use a theodolite, another visual instrument.
Yeah, sure.
That's
No,
a
no,
visual
no.
instrument.
Yeah.
That's a visual
Wait.
instrument. That's got nothing to do with the substance. Listen, the behaviour, the physicality of the substance. Okay?
Use a laser. Use a laser.
A laser for what? What is more accurate than a laser?
Yeah, take the laser and take it down all the way to the shoreline.
Listen,
put it 30 centimeters above
Listen,
the
son.
shoreline.
See, over long distances, particularly over long distances, water is a more accurate measuring tool for establishing level.
Sure.
Right? So why would I use a laser, a less equipped tool, to establish a more accurate tool? What a complete and utter dick you are.
No. Are you saying the laser doesn't go in a straight line?
It'll refract. It'll not go in a perfectly straight line.
You can check. You know what
Do
conditions.
you
are
understand?
correct.
Do you understand that over long distance, water is a more accurate measuring tool for establishing level than a laser?
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
difference
but right, so let's get this clear. You understand that the water is a more accurate measuring tool, but you want to assert that it's bending and that you need a laser in order to... What the fuck is the matter with you? Do you know what? You're now just trolling, son. If you get anything else, you've got about 30 seconds to say something relevant.
Are you saying that a laser won't work?
I'm saying to you, a laser is not as accurate as water.
No, but how big is the difference?
don't give a
Let's say
fuck.
over 1 mile.
Do you
Let's say over 1
understand?
mile.
Do you understand that water over long distance is a more accurate measuring tool for establishing level?
Why is that?
Just because that's the way it is.
No. Why? You made a claim. Now back it up. Why?
Because it's a real world phenomena. Everybody uses it.
That's not an explanation. That's not the
How
claim.
do you explain it? It's a physicality. It doesn't need an explanation. It just is.
Nothing just is. Something is. It is
Of
for
course
a
it is.
reason.
That's your problem. This is a problem with science these days, right? The world was here before you invented your fucking idiotic language, son, right? So water being a more accurate measuring tool than any man-made instrument just is. I don't need to explain it.
Well, what is it? Why would you say that it's more better than laser?
Because it is. It's more
Yeah,
accurate.
why? Why?
Because a laser is subject to atmospheric conditions. It will be refracted.
Yeah, sure, but you can control those conditions.
No, you can.
You know,
So you can control all the air conditions between you and your apparent object that you're trying to establish. Is that right?
Sure.
Oh, shut up, son. You're a
You
moron.
can.
You're a fucking clown.
Me personally can't, but you can certainly build a long enough tunnel. That's not a problem.
Oh, no, you need to build a tunnel.
Yeah, sure.
How are you going to make sure your tunnel's level?
You can just measure it.
With what?
You can still.
How are you going to establish your tunnel's level, meaning nice and straight all the way? How are you going to establish that? What are you going to use?
You can just use the spirit level, and then you can see how. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, son. Honestly, just go away now. Right?
If you do that, let's say you build this tunnel, and it's perfect level the entire way with the spirit level.
What do you mean by level straight?
Yeah, sure.
Right, alright.
Yeah.
So now it is straight. Level is straight now.
Not from point A to point B. Whenever you measure, let's go. You go first. You
So
go to point A.
so how if you build a curvy tunnel then on your definition of level, how are you gonna is a laser gonna bend around the tunnel?
No. It will hit the ceiling. You get it?
Oh son, I'm just gonna sit here and laugh at you now and let you dwindle away.
If you go point A, then you go 10 meters, and you take check the level there as well. Make sure it goes through that. And you do that for every 10 meters. It will be level at each one of those points, but it will not be level from point A to point D, whatever it is.
So it'll be curved.
Yep.
Right. So what are you gonna build it? You thought you were gonna build a tunnel for your laser, but now the tunnel's curved, so it's gonna fuck the laser up because the laser's gonna hit the roof.
Yeah, the tunnel's going to be curved.
Right.
But the laser will still go straight, so
But-
it'll
but you-
hit the tunnel roof.
But how's that gonna work then?
No, that's just to demonstrate that even though it's level at every point, it will still be curved.
I'm not sure when you say level now whether you're talking about curvy level or straight level. Because you've just contorted yourself into a fucking black hole here, and now you're scrambling to try and get out of it, and you've just made an absolute cunt of yourself. And rather than being a man and showing your honesty, you're doing the usual zealot, cult globe zealot behaviour and just denying, omitting, avoiding, evading. You're
How am I
pathetic.
avoiding?
You lot are fucking pathetic, son. The lot of
How
you
am I-
are fucking
How
pathetic.
am I avoiding? I'm trying to explain to you every single point you make, and you're interrupting
No, you're
me.
not.
Trying to-
No,
How am
you're
I
not.
avoiding?
No, you're
How
not.
am I avoiding? What have I avoided explaining?
In the real world, when we're using level, is it curved?
At each point, no.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Have I said anything against that?
right. So level in the real world now is a straight line.
Yeah, but how big is the level?
It's the matter. Level is
Yeah,
level.
it is.
Level means a straight line.
Yeah.
Right.
From one point of the level to the next.
Can you apply straight lines on a sphere?
Yeah, you can apply straight lines to it, sure.
Wow, man.
How-
Wow.
how-
You show me a sphere where there's a straight line on it.
Sure. just take a big enough ball. It doesn't have to be super big, and then make a 1 millimeter long line.
A big ball doesn't matter. It's still curved in every direction. There's no straight lines on it.
Sure.
There's no straight lines on it.
Yeah, sure. But you take a ball that, let's say it's 10 meters in diameter. Then you draw a 1 millimeter long line.
This guy's now trying to assert that Euclidean geometry applies to fucking curved surfaces. I mean, children know this stuff. Children know the difference.
Oh, you're so dishonest.
No, you're the dishonest one, son. No, you're the dishonest one.
If you draw a 1 millimeter line on a 10 meter large ball, will it seem straight? Yes or no? Exactly.
Exactly what? I'm just ignoring you because you're a fucking idiot.
No, you're ignoring me
You'd
because
be
you're
spanked rotten, son. Does Euclidean geometry apply to a curved surface?
Sure.
It does.
Most of the time, yeah.
Right, you give me a demonstration of that.
What do you mean?
Non-Euclidean geometry is what applies to curved surfaces.
You just have to go big enough.
No, you can't just keep saying, you need to go big enough, you need to go big enough. That's just a get-out clause. You're just a liar. You're a wee religious, creepy liar. This is the same as religious people say this shite. Oh, you just need to, God's just so big and massive, you can't comprehend him. You just need, if you were bigger, you would know. Shut up, Dafty. Fuck off.
Religious people actually made that claim.
You're religious. You are you're worse than any religious person I've ever met in my life.
No.
Aye, definitely. It's taken us about an hour to establish that level means no deviation, a straight line.
No. Not necessarily a straight line. Depends on the
Oh, no, it's not a straight line. No, it's not a straight line. So if I was to get into a building site tomorrow and tell all the brickies and all the construction staff and people that build and construct, by the way, a guy on YouTube says that level's actually a curve. What do you think's going to happen to me?
Where have I said a level is a curve? I said there are two definitions, you can use both.
That's right. And I told you that. I helped you to understand that. I understand there's two definitions. One definition is conceptual. One definition only applies to paper, blackboards, right, crayons. The other applies to real world application.
So when you plot an airline, which one do you use?
You use Euclidean geometry for plotting aircraft flight.
Really?
Aye.
So when you say
your baseline's a horizontal.
Yeah, but you don't fly in a straight line.
I don't give a fuck. The geometry that you're assuming, the geometry that you're applying is Euclidean.
No, the practical thing of it is not Euclidean.
It's all Euclidean, son. You trying to tell me that air traffic controllers and aircraft are using non-Euclidean geometry?
Yeah.
Where?
Everywhere. Are you saying you think?
Everywhere. You're
uses the
just
same system.
Give me something specific.
When you go from point A to point B, you don't go.
You're using Euclidean. See if you go and look at any graph. The baseline is a level, straight fucking line. Not a curved baseline. Next you're going to tell me that trigonometry applies to curved surfaces.
What do you mean trigonometry? Yeah, you can use trigonometry on curved surfaces, sure.
Shut. You know what? So the base of a triangle's a curved line now?
No, but you don't have to just trigonometry. You don't.
That's enough. That's enough now. Move on. Something else. What else you got?
What you got?
I'm not here to convince you anything. You're here to tell me it's a globe. So far you've offered diddly squat. I'm surprised you've not said pictures yet. I'm waiting on that. Why have you not said the sun, the moon, the stars, or pictures?
Why would I? I know they won't convince you anyway.
That's right, because it's idiotic.
Sure. I don't...
So you don't have anything then. So pretty much we've established, as usual, that the globe has nothing.
No. Well, what I came on here to do was to demonstrate that most flat earthers don't understand why it's a globe because they don't understand physics. And
don't say, I told you in the comment section, do not use the word physics in the same sentence as globe.
I really don't care what you say.
Give me something. Do you know what physics means? Physical. Right, so give me something physical that supports a globular earth.
I came on here to say
Give me
that you
something
don't understand
physical that supports a globular Earth.
Why?
You just told me that we don't understand what physics and blah blah blah. So you're now trying to assert that you've got physics to support a globe. What physics do you have?
That's not what I said. I said you don't understand physics.
Oh no, I understand it perfectly well. You're the one that doesn't understand it. You believe standing bodies are water bend. You believe Euclidean geometry applies to curved surfaces. You've shown us that you're an incompetent religious clown. So, I'll ask you again. Give me physics that supports a globe.
What would you accept?
Give me one physics example that supports a globe.
Sure.
Go
Just
then.
tell me what you would
No,
accept. I'm
don't
not
say
gonna
sure
give
and then
you-
try and wriggle out it. You understand
sure.
what physics is? We've established that physics is physicality. So, physical demonstrations of substance. Now go, give me one.
Is there any evidence that you would accept? Yes or no?
If you get something physical that supports a globe,
Would you accept it then?
if it's physical, if you got physics to support a globe as you asserted,
Yeah.
what?
Well, just give me an example. I mean, what?
Now we're seeing him wriggle. Now we're seeing him dance and wriggle because the reality is he knows I know it. The globe is conceptual. It's theoretical. It doesn't have physics to support it because it's idiotic and absurd. It is contrary to physical reality. So he doesn't have anything.
Yeah, I do. I'm asking you what you would accept, and you're
A
dancing around
physical,
here.
a physical example that you just asserted. Physics.
Yeah.
You said I don't understand it. So give me some physics that supports a globe.
Yeah, I've already done so. Okay, how about this?
When? What? Remind me again what that physics was that you gave me.
If you go higher up, then you can measure the drop in the horizon, for instance.
That's no physics, son.
Yeah, it is.
That you can drop the drop in the horizon. Listen, see on a here. Let's see if you understand your geometry, right? See on a globular Earth. See as I rise up, the ground must lower continually, right? So if I get how far away is the horizon from me when I'm standing at sea level?
It totally depends on visibility.
No, just give me a. You know, what was your standard be? What's your standard of clear visibility? Where's the horizon?
Where I grew up in a hill, basically, and
No,
it
but I
was
said sea level. I said sea level. If I'm standing at sea level, how far away is the horizon? Let's get through this.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure because there was elevation on the side, but I'm guessing about 30 kilometers or so.
30 kilometres?
30, yeah.
You sure
I'm
about
guessing.
that? You sure about that?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know how
Right,
far it
I'll
was.
be generous, right? I'll be generous and we'll just say, for talking's sake, right? I'm standing at sea level. My eyes are 6 feet above, right? And my horizon's, say, 12 miles away, okay? You accept that so far?
Sure.
Now, that horizon, is it a physical thing?
No.
It's not a physical thing.
No.
So it's no the earth curving downwards in the sky coming down to meet it then?
No, because you're at sea level, so of course that's not.
Right, so what is it then? What is my horizon?
Your horizon is basically where there's just too much atmosphere for you to see further
Right?
most of the time.
So it's not the physical edge of a sphere?
No, not there, no.
No there? How far away is the physical edge then?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest.
Well,
If you go higher up.
I thought you knew about the globe. I thought you knew all this stuff.
Yeah, I don't know every detail about the globe. I'm not a...
Well, you're not equipped to be here then. Right, I'll tell you something because you've got two options. Right, the horizon is either a property of my vision or it's a physical thing, which means that it must remain fixed. So where I see my horizon, where you would say the boats went over the curve, that must be a physical obstruction, correct?
Yeah, but you can't...
Listen,
You personally...
listen,
No.
let's establish something. You made the point earlier, boats go over curves. So,
Yeah.
if that boat's going over the curve, that means that horizon must be physical, correct?
No, because you personally can't see that. If it's clear weather and you have...
In your model,
or-
in your model, you would assert that the boat is being obstructed by earth curve.
Yes.
Okay, so that means that it must remain there.
Yep.
Right, so as I elevate upwards from my position, I must continually angle downwards and look down at the sloping earth away from me, correct?
Sure you can, but yeah.
That's not what happens in reality, son.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
why not?
Because that's not what happens in reality. In reality, as I move upwards, my apparent horizon remains at my eye level.
Yeah, it will always be at your eye level.
That's a geometric physical impossibility on a sphere. Have you ever stood on a hill?
No, let's say if you go...
Have you ever stood on a hill? Have you ever stood on a slope, a gradient?
Sure.
Does the floor of that slope rise up to the centre of your frame of vision?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
No, it doesn't. A physical slope does not... If I'm keeping my head level, looking straight outwards, a physical slope in front of me does not rise up to the centre of my field of vision. Right, but that's what happens in actual reality.
Yeah, the thing is, if you take a camera and you go up, and you measure, you start with drawing a line in the camera, you will see that when you go, you have to go really high, like, I don't know, 30,000 feet.
No. If I'm at sea level and the horizon is there, I don't need to. As I go higher up, I should be increasingly angling downwards to look along the slope of the earth. Do you not understand basic geometry? Are you still there? It's run away.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
So, the horizon, is it physical or is it a property of my vision? Oh, he's kidding on, he's got technical difficulties now.
No, I don't have difficulties. I woke up my wife and she was not happy.
I'm surprised.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you've got a wife. So,
really, have you looked at yourself?
Is the horizon a physical thing or a property of vision?
Both.
Oh, it's both now. This is interesting. This is a first for fucking globe believers. So, when you're using visible phenomena, how do you account for perspective? Do you understand that the floor will always be beneath the central point of my field of vision?
Sure.
Right. It will never cross the centre point of my field of vision. If it did, it would mean I was looking into a hill. You understand that?
Mostly,
yes. As I elevate upwards, the floor does not drop away, increasingly so, as I remain levelled, looking outwards. It continually remains at the centre point of my field of vision.
I can show you videos that show you otherwise.
No, you can't. No, you can't. No, you cannot. You're just going to say you need to go high. Did you see the experiment, the test that me and my friend done, where we took a cylindrical tube and we stood at sea level, where the horizon intersected the centre of the tube. Then we went up to something like 250 feet and the horizon was still intersecting the centre of the tube. That is a physical impossibility on a sphere.
250 feet? No, I don't think so.
It doesn't matter. If the horizon is fixed at sea level, as I elevate up, I would have to tilt the tube downwards to get that point back into the centre of the tube.
Not at 250 feet, no.
Whatever, son.
It's
a physical slope. It's a physical slope downwards from your feet. It has to be. As you elevate up, it would increase ever more so.
Yeah, but even at 1,000 feet, it will still be less than 1 degree.
Why does the floor even rise up in my field of view? Why does the floor rise up? See, if I'm standing at the sea and I'm looking outwards, straight, levelled, perfectly levelled, looking outwards, why does the floor rise up like that into the centre of my vision? Why does it do that?
1 second.
I'm just now toying with this clown.
I'm sorry, my wife is going to sleep and she's not happy. I have to call her, but I'll join you anytime later.
You want whatever. Run away.
I actually don't have a shed like you do, so I have to be quiet.
Well, whatever you still organise that and throw about that, you selfish prick. Bye. Is your moon flat? I'm going to fucking block the cloud in 2 seconds. No surprise, same old fucking shite. You don't understand physics. What physics you have to support a globe? What would you accept? Physicality, physical references, practical physical references. That's our get out clause, right? When they ask you what would you accept? If you came to me and said pink unicorns are real, I said prove it to me, and then you said what would you accept as proof? A fucking pink unicorn? Bring me the pink unicorn. No, Levi, you're no ghosted, I can see you. Daniel Pratt, how you doing, mate? Des Sherwood, how's it going? See, I can't help getting irate and annoyed. I just can't be fucking bothered with them. But they always use that as they think that means something. It doesn't mean anything. So as I said many times before, forget the persona, forget the expressions, never mind any of that. What facts were established for the globe? None. Is your moon flat? Is your moon flat? Again, red herrings. Let's look up there at the sky. Let's talk about the moon. Let's not establish what's going on down here on Earth. Fuck that. Let's distract ourselves by looking up there. It's like me asking you to find out what the stars are by looking at the fucking floor. What's that star up there? I don't know. Let's have a wee look down here. Oh look, I found a rock. I found a shiny rock, therefore shiny rock, shiny rock. I ended up unsure because I've not been paying attention to the comment sections, and I had a wee look today while I was sunbathing. And I gave them a couple of responses, and that dipshit took me up on the offer of coming on live. So obviously a noob. But even at that beyond belief, that's the problem. Because when we're talking about level, as I said, they define it from the centre of the circle. And even when you start there, you know, that's your starting point. We all know that in the real world. If you're on a curve, if you're on a slope, you're not at the same elevation if you get down here. That's no level. That and that's no level. They're just fucking idiots. That's it, Annie Meg. That's the thing. We were all globe believers. We were no dishonest though. We are the real honest people. We are the real skeptics. Because we had the ability to assess the beliefs that we held to be true, the assumptions that we had, and we moved on for them. We removed them. That's true integrity, true honesty. What these people display is anything but that. No, Dale doesn't. See, there we go, this is to try and misrepresent you. Dale, did they say level was flat? Where did I say that? Greenville, you wee lying prick. Just another one, in fact, where is that cunt? Get to fuck out my chat box. Bye. Exactly, Tony Dixon. This is the difference, this is what I've always been shouting about. There's a huge distinction between mathematical sophistry and real physics. Because all they have is language. All they have is blackboards and idiots with wee whiteboards, dabbing dots and crayons on it, living in fucking fantasy world. Trying to redefine real world applications to fit their wee fucking idiotic cartoon model of the reality. It's a fucking joke. And again, with their gravity stuff, right, and the descriptors of direction, right, push and pull, the interaction, what's required, and him trying to avoid that force was applying a pressure. That's how everything moves. You either relieve the pressure or you apply more. That's what creates motion. Don't with a t-shirt. There's plenty of globe believers that have got hundreds of crayons though. That's all they've got. Crayon after crayon. Anybody else get anything to say? I know, Shug. Straight lines and flat bits on spheres, I mean, absolutely ridiculous. Edge Bob, how you doing, mate? Any worries? Well, another one, telling lies. Who said the world accelerates upwards at 9.81 metres per second? I didn't say that. You can fuck off for telling lies and that. You wee prick. If I see any of them telling lies in the comment section through, I'm just going to remove the lot of them. Fuck them. It's us that are being targeted. We're being ghosted. Drowned out in every comment section. So these fucking dipshits are not getting away with it in my comment section. Fuck them. I'm going to rip the piss out them. And I'm going to limit them to one comment at a time. And I'm going to highlight it, rip the piss out them. Then I'm going to delete the rest. Exactly, pragmatic. But as I say, it's not even ego with some of these lot. The majority of these clowns are own task. You can't be that, you call yourself a genuine person and then assert the gibberish that clown just asserted. I just fail to see that that's just an honest person. You know, it can't be. Only the concavers know the truth, however. Right, Jason, Jace Wynne McCormick, jump in then, send me an email, come in and tell us all your fantasy. We've just inverted. We went from the outside of the sphere to inside the walls of the fucking sphere. So now levels actually a curve going up the way. Horizon behind the... Back to visible phenomena again. What you're witnessing is a property of your vision, not a physicality. Right? Mr. Concave Man. It's exactly what it is beyond belief. Exactly world without curve, but people don't want to go there, although it's demonstrable. But for some reason it's avoided like the fucking plague. Depends, Winston, 1875, probably, aye. No debate formats, because it's not a fucking debate. Duality, no until they account precisely for vision and what's actually going on. There's no exacting science behind it. So as long as they keep bringing purely visible phenomena and they don't account for that, it doesn't mean anything. Ah, no Traumatic. No, I can see, is it because I was black? I can use that line now. The weather's fucking brilliant. Long may it continue. Gleam, I sent you the link. Why did you leave? I'll shut it down and I'll send you another one. I'll wait to show you this. Steve sent me this. Fucking love it. Give me some ideas. Check that out. It's fucking heavy as well. Fucking Gallus. I'll be churning a few like that out myself. I'm cracking it. Thank you very much, Steve. How does everything work in concave spherical Earth? Jaswin McCormick. How do you work that out? Gleam, you need to give us a wee message. Are you coming in or you know? I think so too, Stuart Lundy. It's been absolutely terrible the weather here for the last couple of years. Yeah, it certainly is, Andrew. Brilliant. If only we could master the magic of gravity. We wouldn't, you know, engines and machines as we know it would fucking transform. We would no longer need inclined planes and levers to achieve motion. We'd have contactless magic happening. I just scoop some gravity into that wee tank king there and it'll just go. Gleam, I don't know what's happening here, but I've sent you 2 links and you're no coming in. That's exactly it, V. Thomas.
Can you hear me, Del?
I can hear you.
Ah, there we go. I don't know what happened there. I joined and everything come up, everything's disabled. And I was like, what the hell? So I had to shut down the whole of Chrome, go into settings and add it back in again.
All right.
Either way, how are you, sir? How are you, King?
No bad, no bad.
Yeah, all I wanted to do is I don't want to spend a long time babbling on because that guy is exactly that. As soon as you said physics, he crumbled. Yeah. Physically.
Exactly.
It's hilarious.
Exactly.
But exactly what you're saying, I want to come on just to quickly back yourself up, is there is massive load of science backing up optics being the horizon giver, or the cause of the horizon. And there is deviation beyond the standard angular size distance relationship, which is the angular diameter formula. Now, just to back you up on that, if anybody wants to look this up, the whole science of perspective falls under I'm forgetting my words here. The whole science basically falls under the physiology of the brain, basically, or psychology. There we go. Sorry, psychology was the word I was looking for. But Gilinski, a psychologist or someone in psychologists, back in 1951 was investigating what the difference is between geometric reality and your perspective distorted reality, let's say, or apparent reality, your illusion reality because of these eyes. Yeah, and later on I'll get to lenses, because the first thing I always get with that, I've presented this to many Globers, but the first thing I always get is, oh, that's for the human eyes, it doesn't matter for a camera. And I'm like, are you telling me that train tracks unbend in a camera? You're magically unbending perspective. But either way, what she did is she tested it was purely humans' perceived distance. And what they call it is egocentric distance. And what she found is there was a significant error in us perceiving how far a distance was away. Now, I will say her original studies were between sort of like 10 to 15 meters. But what she actually did is she tested at sort of like 3 heights, one sitting on a chair, one standing up, and one standing on the chair. And she measured the angle difference to where people are perceiving a certain object.
Yeah.
And they're literally falling short at this 10, 15 meter mark. And when I mean falling short, it's exponential drop off from the angular size formula. Now, of course, you can put that down to, that's because we see in this illusionary optical view. But it went on. There was many other, and she actually invented a constant in optics called the slant error.
Right.
And it was actually added on to your standard angular diameter formula. It's basically saying this accounts for our eyes being tricked somehow. Now, later on, other people studied it and actually contradicted. No, wait there. It isn't a physical slant in the land up, because the way how other people actually, PhD holders in optometrists, draw it out is, your side view, your orthographic view.
Yeah.
They do that, but they physically put in the apparent rising floor as this slant error. Now, what I'd really love to do is give you the papers.
Yeah.
One from her, and then I'm just going to go, it was extensively looked into, and they found out that at the end of the day, her hypothesis wasn't the correct one. What is correct is it's basically compression of the floor. Mm-hmm. So that is what is causing this illusionary sort of like thing, which is, now, I mean, the army done this back in 86. The army done this because their grenadiers were actually firing short of their target because of this exact thing. The target on the end of it, the stadiometric ranging device, the notches on there were making them fire short. Yeah. So they had to adjust all that for the eye, for the human eye. Obviously, it's a life and death situation, so it's not a light thing.
Yeah.
But going on either way, it comes to the point where just in 2020, University of Salford, I don't know whether you got that message in the chat, but if not, I'll send it through Hangouts.
I send it direct. What do you mean?
Yeah, but it's the University of Salford, and you can understand this. This is very logical. They're into robotics. There is a PhD professor there. He's one of the lead of the team. There's 4 or 5 of them, and they're actually modelling perspective and trying to reverse engineer it for a robot to do it. Now, the professor actually ex-NASA JPL robotics for this exact thing. Now, I just want to read one sentence from the abstract, and just for everybody's sake, it's called Perspective Distortion Modeling for Image Measurements. So this is going to the camera. This is purely a monocular camera that they're using. And I just want to read just 3 sentences, and it really hits home to me. And it says, why are globe earthers always putting in this orthographic view for one? And number 2, not actually analysing what flat earthers say. It's perspective. And they just go, we don't need accounts for that. We'll just forget about that. No, we don't need to worry about that. Look, it's curved. And that is the most hilarious thing. That it's ironic. I don't know. But I just want to read this bit from the abstract, and it says, it's basically talking about the history of perspective distortions and how people have tried to model them. But it says here, some approaches, there are many approaches trying to model and estimate the perspective effects in images. Some approaches try to learn the distortion parameters from a set of training data that only work for a predefined structure. None of the existing methods provide deep understanding of the nature of perspective problems. Perspective distortions, in fact, can be described in 3 different perspective effects, and they're pose, distance, and foreshortening. And these things, they go through, and each different section, they work out, and it's a plethora of mathematics. It's not just the angular size formula. They are fully aware that the angular size formula can't be used on things like overlapping objects. And I've had many arguments with, I don't know whether you've ever come across him, Bearded Devil.
No.
I've done a debate with him on Jose's, and he's basically saying, show me a flat surface in perspective and how perspective can block stuff bottom up, the standard old thing.
Yeah.
And Jose himself, and you must remember this, the time where everyone was going around filming at short distances, like supermarket floors, hallways and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and you could physically see things disappear bottom up
Yep.
due to them changing the perspective of the camera. I personally got involved, and one of mine was on Oakley's and blah blah blah.
It's not just
But
that.
even-
I mean, you get different variables as well. You get, the conditions, how much moisture's in there, what the temperature is. People can see that just looking along a straight stretch of road. You can see these things
Yeah.
that are apparent in an everyday experience.
Exactly.
So they've got to be
Yeah.
accounted for.
Yeah. I mean, the real funny thing is that they then say their counter argument to that is, oh, it's a bumpy floor. And I crack up. I go, now show me anywhere on Earth which is not a bumpy floor or bumpy sea
Yeah.
with waves.
Exactly.
And all of them just go, oh, well, what about something else that I need to distract you on because I can't answer that?
Exactly.
It is hilarious.
I know. I mean, well, we've been screaming at it here for the last few years, mate. Obviously, you've heard it.
Definitely.
How are you accounting, particularly when it's just visible phenomena? How are you accounting for the eye and what it is that's actually going on? And they just avoid it. As you say, when you show you the orthographic view, they always show you, a man in a fucking mountain at scale, as if that's the way it would actually appears in your visual field. It's fucking ludicrous,
I love it. What I've actually done, Del, is I'm no one, anyone with anything background in science or anything. I'm an IT geek, so I do a bit of coding and I do a bit of maths, and I like my Excel. I'm a coder of Excel, and I've done all the maths that it would take to for a human eye versus a P900 versus a P1000, and what you get is an optical limit where even if you draw it in an orthographic view, there will be a particular point where it will be about 0.02 degrees just dropping below the horizon, where everything squashes then into one compression zone.
Right.
Yeah, and they're all at different distances, and I've done this diagram exactly that. I'm not going to present it or tell you to look at it, but
that's it. It's some people call it the vanishing point or the compression zone or whatever. But that's what I always say. We're not equidistant from the top or whatever it is up there in the ground. We're on the ground, so that increases the distortion even further. And also because everything, if you could theoretically get to that equal point, then for me everything would dissipate evenly around any object as it goes into that point. But the fact of the matter is that we're limited in the angle because we are standing on the surface.
It's exactly that. The real funniest thing that I've got them, or try to walk them through, is you get a block the same size as you, so it's only half your view, basically from your eye level downwards. You take that to the horizon, where you can no longer actually resolve it with your human eye, and that would be about 3.9 miles. Yeah, and that was just to answer his question. I can't believe he didn't even know it was around about 3 miles for the horizon.
That was being
amazing.
Generous. Being generous, giving him 12 miles,
Oh no, it's amazing that he's coming. Yeah, I've got, like Yosemite Sam, got the bullets in the gun, but then they're just blanks, and it's just like, I don't know about my own medal, sorry.
Exactly.
But yeah, the P900, if you were to do the resolving distance again of a P900, it would work out around about 10 to 15 miles, and then a P1000 only slightly more, about 15 to 20. Now, I put this diagram in an orthographic view with a massive lighthouse, about 5 times the observer height, and it was 40 kilometers. I've done it, and at 20 kilometers, the P1000 had already hit its horizon limit. So you've got like a half distance shortfall of everything, the whole ground. There's no way you can resolve that ground that the object's sitting on anymore. and it's all just, I mean, I always say it's exactly like train tracks. If you stand on a load of train tracks, you'll see about 100 of them. You'll resolve 100 of them. You lay down on them and look up the same thing, you'll resolve about 10 of them.
Yeah.
Because the back 90 have compressed into just one line.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then if a train come up, you'd see it come up, if it's from a distance, obviously, because it's so high, and exactly what you were saying is a disproportionate angle, you'll see it without seeing its wheels.
Yep.
You won't see the bumper, and it will come up to you, and then you'll start to see its wheels and bumper when it starts to come in resolvable distance.
Exactly, and I mean, especially now with the temperature and the weather that's going on, you see it continually. You know, even a great long stretch of road, you see that. You get the mirroring effect, and things are gone from the bottom. You know, you can see it. It's
and that's it, and that was just the geometry, and then you've got the refraction to add on to it.
Yep.
And they just basically go, no, I mean, that combined effect could be that 1 or 2 degrees.
Yeah.
No, and they're not willing to entertain it at all, and I think it's so ironic. It's amazing.
Well, it exposes them, because the more and more people that grasp onto this and see the relevancy of it and start representing it, then they've not got a pot to piss in. They're just going to keep coming up against a brick wall continually if they don't start dealing with it.
Exactly that. And I'd love to go in. I don't know if you remember last time, because we were talking about physicality of gravity. What could the substance of gravity be, let's say?
Yeah.
And I was talking about a sea of electrons, which was the same theory as the Dirac sea, as well as Lorentz ether theory. It's the same thing where we're swimming all in electrons, and it has that push and pull type thing. Now, at that time, we got interrupted by Russian vids, and he just kept on bulleting. But I don't think I got out. I listened to it back, and I don't think I got out the crux of it, because back in those days when ether, Michelson, Morley, and all that lot, they had ether embedded in the system. It was not going anywhere. And it was obviously the Einstein 25 that brought it out. But then Paul Dirac and the advent of quantum electrodynamics, they actually found that due to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, you have to have an ether. You have to have a background substance regardless. And that's what led on for Richard Feynman and Bell to actually invent the quantum phone, or the virtual particles popping in and out of existence. And that's what it is. If you throw something off, it's a distraction thing. You look on 0 point energy on Wiki, and it literally says there, this background energy is kind of like a reintroduction of ether.
Aye, that's it. I mean, because the absurdness of these people is that they want to isolate everything down to wee space balls. Between the space balls, there's fuck all, no thing. And I keep trying, it's preposterous to ever try and get to a point of no thing. It's fucking bonkers. So, I'm in agreement with that. There has to be some fundamental, baseline, something that's supporting everything, including air and all these things. That you can't just say it's all supported by no thing. You get right down to the nitty gritty and there's nothing. It's fucking nonsense.
Yeah, exactly that. And something, and that was the thing. The thing that Dirac said is that we're rather forced to have it because you can't have a perfect vacuum.
Yeah.
So that I think that was 1951, published in Nature, and that was like the swap over of saying, right, we can't theoretically ever reach zero because there's always going to be this background energy there interfering.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. You suck everything out of a vacuum. It's there. I mean, the Casimir force, the Casimir effect, that is literal physical proof that there is something there that makes two non-conductive plates, very tiny level. It's obviously a minute force, but at a very tiny level, it causes it to attract or repel. And it's similar to magnetism, but as you would describe, you've described it many a time. It's like a fluid.
Yeah.
And it's like the fluid pressure between the two objects gives that particular push or pull.
Well, it's consistent. Again, you ending up arriving at something like that because it's consistent with every other practical reference you can look at. You know, as I say, you seen it again earlier. You know, define this attraction and pull and all this. It's just gibberish. You know, it's totally fucking absurd. There has to be something pressing on something else. But again, jumping. They always jump magnetism, magnets. Well, again, what are you going to assert about magnets? Because I'm just going to deduce from every other practical reference that I have, you know, that something similar must be happening. Although we don't know the physicality of that thing or understand it fully, but. That makes more sense to me to go that road than to just jump into some fucking induced state of delirious delusion and imagination about fantasy magic and pulling stuff. I mean, sick of going about it. Yeah. I just don't have the vocabulary. Mate, you know, other people are more well read. You're better read. You've got a vocabulary for some of these things, but it doesn't negate that I've got a physical understanding. You know.
Yeah. Logic is all you bloody need.
Exactly.
It's exactly that. How can you, if you say, yeah, I back science, and then purposefully neglect an effect, what the hell? That is anti-science. That is pseudoscience straight out the bag.
Yeah.
It's that simple. And I do like Feynman's speeches because he says if it disagrees with experiment, it's wrong. That is the sheer essence of science.
Yep.
And there are a multitude of things. I mean, we can talk about the expansion of the universe where two different satellites have measured two different speeds, two different expansion rates, and it completely mismatches, and they're both up in arms going, what the hell's going on here? And many a things, sort of like galaxy spin rates, they're not working just based on normal gravity, so they've got to invoke dark supernatural gods. And it's
just,
I mean, it's hilarious that they think they got a fully working model. Put it that way, but 95% of it is supernatural god.
aye, theoretical rubbish. You know, as I say, mathematical fucking gibberish. That's got no relation to actual reality. You know. So,
Yeah.
but you need to send me the links to some of that, the visual stuff, be the perspective.
Yeah, I put them both in the Hangout chat. They should have come through, hopefully.
Hangout chat, the thing that runs it right now.
Yeah.
Hang
I
on,
think you got.
I see.
Yeah, they're both in there.
There we go. Right, open. Where the fuck did that go? Sorry, I'm just opening them up so I can save them.
Yeah, no worries. I've got plenty, but they're the core ones. I mean, the core thing is Galinsky. She wasn't the start of this investigation because other people beforehand did start investigating it. But she was, the point was, she was the first to put a mathematical constant on this error, this perspective error. And to ignore it, I mean, for them to say, no, this is only happening on the eye, it's a psychological effect, it's only optometry, it's eyes. And then you fast forward to 2020 now, this year, they've just released it. It's not even proper published, but as I say, they're top level. I've checked out all the guys in there. They're proper optometry, robotics, and they've gone into proper depth on how to reverse engineer perspective. And oh my God, I've never seen a globe earther go through any of that at all, ever.
They never will because they know it's detrimental to their fucking absurd beliefs, you know.
I mean, and the best that they have to come back once they're fully on the floor dripping, they literally say, okay, now show me where it says it's a flat earth in that document.
Yeah.
Like they're expecting scientists to even bother to even investigate that side of things, you know what I mean? It's like, come on, mate.
Exactly. I know. Aye, well, cheers for that, mate.
Well, that was all I was coming on to say. Thank you, sir, and I hope you're doing well, and I hope lockdown's not driving you mad like me.
Nah, life as usual for me.
Yeah, that's it. Salute to you, sir. I'm going to leave now.
Cheers,
Take
mate.
care.
Take it easy,
Bye.
mate. Cheers. Bye. Sorry, just disconnected here 2 seconds. Right, where's that? Where's that stopped? Right. Right, I'm going to get off, people. Cheers everybody for coming on. Andrew, again, we'll hook up with that. Hopefully with twos can get a fucking clear sky, but I mean, just to make the visual point and ask the questions, you know. So I'll see you on Saturday. Open platform. Saturday, if you want to join, we can talk about anything. We can talk about the shape of the earth. We can talk about, you know, consciousness, daily life, you know, whatever. You just need to send me an email above, but don't send the email until Saturday if you're, you know, want to join. That way I'll get it when I fire up on the Saturday evening. So anyway, cheers everybody. Take it easy.